Welcome to this week's Dream Car judging video here at BOTB. We'd now like to hand over to today's lawyer from Onside Law, who'll oversee the proceedings.
My name's George Cottle from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has been sent to the auditing company as is. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
Hi, my name's Renee Hector. I play football for Watford FC Women and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Hi, my name is Ari Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, first as a player and then as a referee.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, tutor and observer.
Good morning, my name's Peter Giorgio and I am a football and futsal referee.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and am now a senior county referee.
My name's Liam Walsh. I'm a retired referee, currently an FA observer and head coach for the Middlesex Referees Academy.
Hi, my name's Matthew Ray. I've affiliated in multiple counties across England and have refereed from grassroots through to professional academies.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you, George. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning. We've got two players in shot, sort of a player, I'll say, in red and a player in blue. The player in red seems to sort of have stopped himself. He's sort of leaning back slightly. Looks like his legs are tensed, looking up towards the ball, which I believe is in front of this player in blue. And the player in blue looks like he's in motion and sort of just turning, looking up to the ball. So it's possible, I think, the ball is coming in for the red player to play, but it'll be interesting to see your own opinions on that. So I will come straight into the middle of the mix here. Kieran, your light blue cross there in the middle of the cluster in the middle. What was your view?
Yes, thanks, Matt. I think I see it the same way as you do. I think the player in blue is trying to get in to play the ball. He's looking at the ball, but I'm not sure that he's going to make it or not. I think the player in red is leaning back, expecting to control the ball, possibly on his chest or maybe lower, not quite sure. But yeah, otherwise I see it exactly the same. I'm not clear about whether the player in blue is going to try and get to the ball or not. It doesn't seem to be at the moment in a position to play the ball. So I think the player in red is likely to get the ball, but the player in blue is coming across him. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Lovely. And just to your left, Matthew, with the lime green cross there highlighted. Did you see it the same way?
Yeah, very similar. I think looks like to me that the ball's coming in from left to right. Obviously the ball in the foreground as well. I think both players are adjusting the positions. I don't know if the ball's coming in quickly, but even the player in red might be backpedaling just to try and get a reach on it. But we've got two good eyes on the player in blue, and a good eye player in red with a head angle is how I've placed it.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And Ari, again, yours is the dark blue cross. You're in the middle of the main cluster. Your view?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Well, similar as your view as well. I felt that the player in blue is slightly ahead of him and he's turning. He's turning probably to try to nick the ball from playing red. The playing red will be the obvious player to get the ball. But I don't think he looked at his shoulders before and allowed. He didn't protect well his position, and allowed the player in blue probably to try to just nick the ball before he tries to control. Well, when I drew my lines, I decided that that was the perfect position.
Great, thank you very much. And Hugh, again, you're in the midst of the main cluster. Your orange cross. How did you see this?
Yeah, not too dissimilar. I just felt perhaps the orange player had realised the Blues just got ahead of him and almost stopping, anticipating that the Blues going to play it kind of round the corner, and he's going to need to change direction, go the other way. Because for me, it's closest to the Blue player. He's got two good eyes on it. I agree. I think he's turning, twisting maybe to play it shortly as it drops in. But the Orange, for me, he's got his head back slightly, but his eyes aren't looking up too much. I think he was just stopping on looking at the ball in front of the Blue for me.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And Liam, yours, there's the pink cross there, magnified, just to the right of Hughes. Do you concur?
Basically, yes, Matt, I do. Regardless of whether the blue or the red, what match scenario we're going to put with them, I focused on, I went on eye lines. I think you get a very good eye line from the guy in red, and I used his eye line, his head angle. That gave me that line, which it looks like there's a few of the guys on that sort of line this morning from the red, and then the blue. I looked at took into consideration, where I had that line. Then I looked at where does the cross sit best on that line for the Blue, so I can say yes, he's going to come in and head it. He's going to this, that, or the other. Took into consideration also the whites of his eyes. We can see he's looking to his right, and there's just a little bit underneath. He's looking up, brow furrowed, and also what's been mentioned, I said the ball was in the foreground, and that's where my cross lies.
Yeah, thank you, Liam. And sorry, thank you. I've just realised I haven't drawn the crosses, our normal drawing lines up, so I apologise for that. Part of it was because I wanted to do the majority of them after I've removed a couple of the choices. We've got quite a narrow spread from this player in red, and if I come up from this the player in blue, we've got quite a bigger spread from myself over to Leo and Nigel's. So Peter, I'll come to you now. Yours is the orange cross at the bottom of the cluster. What was your view?
Purple, Matt. It's purple.
Sorry, purple.
That's okay. Thank you. Yes, I agree with the rest of the panel so far. I'm slightly lower because I feel that the player in red, even though his head is tilted further up, his eye line is actually looking down. If you actually hover over the eye, you'll be able to see. That's what I thought. He's actually not looking up; he's looking across rather than up. So that's why I've gone slightly lower than the rest of you guys. And I actually feel that the player, I think the ball is equidistant between the blue and the red. It's a deceptive photograph. And like Liam was saying, that I've gone with the eye lines, and that's where I put the intersection of the two eye lines from the player in blue and one from the red, but slightly lower, only because I feel even though his head is tilted into the guy in red, his eye is actually looking more flatter.
Yeah, thank you. And Rene, you're the last judge in the middle of the main cluster there. You're the green cross. Mm-hmm. How did you see this?
Yeah, I'll concur a little bit on Peter's first point. I got my height probably from the player in red. He is leaning back a little bit, and his head is tilted back, so there is a little bit of height, but actually his eye line is relatively sort of looking a little bit more horizontal, so I'm a bit lower than some of the other judges. And then I just got my direction from the player in blue. To my mind, the player in red is either decelerating or, like Matthew said, backpedaling. And I concur that I think the player in blue is sort of trying to come towards the ball to maybe either nick it with a header around the corner or something like that. Wasn't too sure on the scenario, but yeah, it's more the height and the and sort of the direction from the eye lines is why I put my cross there.
Great, thank you. And the last two judges, there's Leo, you're in the pink, you're to the left here, highlighted. How did you see the challenge and what was happening?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Rene's just said there. I think you get a good sort of judgment of where the ball is from the eye lines and the body position. The only thing I'd say different, Matt, I think the player in blue just for me, the way I looked at it, I thought he was favourite to get to the ball. I think he's on the move. I think the other guys in orange is more stationary. And I think the player in blue is going to get there. And I just think if you look at once again, his body shape, he actually looks like he's still maybe running 1 or 2 steps towards the ball. So
yeah.
I put it a little bit further to the left.
Great, thank you. And lastly, but not least, Nigel, you're the yellow cross. You're the furthest out to the left.
Yeah.
How did you see this?
Similar to my colleagues, I very much gone on the eye lines. I think we're all pretty much agreeing on the eye line for the red. We're all in a fairly narrow band there. I think for the blue, it's more a degree of how close the ball is to us. As Liam said, I think it's a ball that's closer to us than the players. So it's a 3-dimensional picture. From the player in blue's body angle and the tilt of his head, I feel he's looking at maybe 30, 35 degrees angle. And so for me, where I put my cross is just an indication of how much slightly closer I think the ball is to us than some of my colleagues. But other than that, I mean, I think if the top 2 crosses weren't there, the angle on the player in blue on his sight line is pretty similar for all of us. It's just a question of where the intersection is.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you all. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't draw the lines in the beginning because I wanted to get to the point where I think I need to remove a few of the choices because they're outside what we describe as our sort of cluster bubble in the middle here. So I will undo the lines that I've drawn previously. And if I put the magnifier over the top of this calculated average here, you see there's 3 clear choices outside. So I'm going to remove my own at first, and then I'm going to draw a line up from this player in red, and I think it shows that his line of vision then becomes much narrower, and I can draw these lines because the other ones outside the cluster are farther to the left. That doesn't interfere with this guy's eye line, so that's very tight cluster, and I think by removing myself it makes more sense. Again, if I put the magnifier over, we've still got Nigel completely outside and Leo's. So I will remove as lead judge both Leo and Nigel, which brings us into a much tighter cluster up from this player in blue. And I think a number of the judges have said this player in blue is in motion, and his body shape, I think, as Leo pointed out, and others suggest that he's coming in and he's sort of in control. The other guy's backpedaling or just waiting for the ball to come. And this guy's come in and, as Rennie said, might sort of nick it, have a little flick on header to have a look at it. So that, with myself removing myself, Nigel and Leo, brings us into a very tight cluster up from here. So I would like to go through you all again, and please feel free to want to have someone put back in so you can have a look at how the calculated average shifts. So first I'll come to you, Renee.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with the average there.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Nigel?
Great chairmanship there, Matt. I think that's exactly what was needed and looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, thank you. Ari?
I'm happy with it as well.
Brilliant. Hugh?
Spot on. Happy.
Thank you. Peter?
Yeah, that's a very tight cluster, one of the tightest we've had for a while in that scenario. So yes, I think that's a good solution.
Great, thank you. Kieran?
Yes, Matt, I agree. I think the other 3 that you've taken out were all plausible, and I could see why they could be there. But I think having the 7 that close is a good solution.
Yeah, thank you. Liam?
Yeah, I agree with your recommendation, Matt.
Thank you. Matthew?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a really good cluster and a good average too.
Great, thank you. And lastly, Leo?
Yeah, even though I've been taken out, Matt, it looks good.
Great, thank you. Okay, so George, after myself as lead judge, removing myself, Nigel and Leo, because basically we were outside the bubble, I call it, the main cluster in the middle, we've come to a decision to judge with the 3 of us removed and the 7 remaining at this average.
Okay, thanks, Matt. If everyone's happy, please click submit. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 14211015. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company ASITS to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.
Thank you, George.